Let's get ready to rumble!
Hello and welcome to Netflix versus Cinema, the podcast that only has two people here this week, and the podcast that after weeks of yay, cinema's back, it looks like, cinema might be going away again. So my name is Tosin. I'm the host based up near Birmingham in the middle of the country in the UK. And joining me on the Isle of Wight this week is a man who has a clock running, and that is Shaun Harris.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Shaun, can you tell us why is it that today we cannot spend loads of time talking about nonsense, because you tell us why you have to get out of here quick.
Okay, I have to get out. I have to move pretty quick because tonight I'm going to see the anniversary edition of Jackie Brown, the Tarantino movie that people weren't expecting. It's not his typical mold of thing, but I really like it. And I think in retrospect, a lot of people have sort of come to warm to it a little bit more than what it first release.
Do you know what year it is? Like, is it the 25th? Is it the 20th year anniversary of Jackie Brown?
I should just
so I can feel properly old.
I think it's yeah. That's it really. Well, I should have it up here. Let me just see in City World because it'll be say what anniversary it is. I'm not very good when it comes to things, but it will come up straight away, and it is. When it loads, I'll just have a look on my little old phone here.
You know what we're saying now?
Jackie Brown, I thought it was 25th anniversary.
25th anniversary.
So 25th anniversary.
Just as we were saying that, we don't have time to waste time today because Shaun has to go. And okay, let's do some live Googling. Shaun's going to Google, try to figure stuff out. Tosin's going to forget to put a card in the recorder.
I'm glad I looked because I was going to say 30th. So I'm glad I looked now.
Yeah, no, it's a 25th anniversary. Yeah, because as we were talking about it earlier, it was like it's the third Tarantino film. It came after Pulp Fiction, and it was not what you expected. It wasn't a story he originally wrote himself. He adapted a novel, and he brought brought a whole bunch of old people back. Like Pam Grier is the lead. All that it's so when you think of it as
Robert Foster,
Robert Foster.
Black Hole.
Yeah, it was Robert Foster's kind of, because Tarantino had this whole thing of reinvigorating people's careers, like Harvey Keitel in Reservoir Dogs, John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, and in this one, Pam Grier. No, to be honest with you, this was the first time I ever heard of Pam Grier. It was the first time I ever heard of Pam Grier, and people were talking, "Oh my God, Pam Grier's back!" And I was like, "Who's Pam Grier?" I have to start doing like a whole bunch of research, going, "Oh, she was a big deal in the 70s. And it's he did that whole thing. And obviously you have Samuel L. Jackson, the second time he worked with him, and has that iconic line from Samuel L. Jackson of AK-47. When you absolutely positively gotta kill every last in the room, except no substitutes. That was, and they had that line. I think they put that line in the trailer. I remember the trailer for this, and they had that line in the trailer, just kind of like, maybe you should watch this film.
That's it.
And also, the final line. The final line one of the characters hears is one that Odell, his character, says, which is like, "Lewis, what happened to you, man? What happened to you, man?
You used to be beautiful.
Your ass used to be beautiful."
Yeah. That's the Robert De Niro, isn't it?
Well, I guess it's a 25-year-old film, so if anybody hasn't watched it yet, your fault. So but he says it to him. It's quite good. And you have, oh my God, you got Bridget. It has a really good cast.
That's a really good cast. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Bridget Fonda in there. You got Robert De Niro. It's got a really, really good cast. Right. And
I think it's perfectly right. It's one of my favorite parts of Robert De Niro. I just like it because I just believed him. He was that sort of character, especially the car park scene. I won't say any more because those people who haven't seen it, perhaps. But yeah, the car park scene is one of the. I just love that. I could watch that on its own unlimited amount of times because you can get driven to that to those extremes sometimes.
It's a scene between Robert De Niro and Bridget Fonda. But all right, cool. So we only have 2 films to talk about this week, and Shaun is going to be essentially. I'm going to decide to make today a you special. You went to the cinema. You went to see the film that I wanted to see, but I couldn't get out of the house to see, which is See How They Run in cinema, and you saw something else on at home on Netflix.
Yeah.
So, and because we have a little bit of time, not that much. We've had a comment, and we obviously, whenever somebody gives us a comment, be it on the podcast or leaves us a review or gets in touch with us on Facebook, on YouTube, or even Facebook sometimes, to sort of say, talk about the reviews that we put up. We like to sort of say thank you for getting in touch with us, and we'll feature you on the podcast. And this is one that was given 2 weeks ago, and I haven't been able to say it because it's long. It is long. It is on our Nope review, and I even said that we might have to do this bit by bit or paragraph by paragraph because this guy, a guy whose YouTube name is Hitoshi Nohara, he left an essay on our review of Nope, which.
Wow.
As we said when we reviewed Nope, it is fitting because Nope is that kind of film that that makes you go and sit down and think and everything like that.
Yeah.
And as is the case with this sort of films, not everything he says I agree with, and some of the stuff is kind of like the kind of film talk that I don't particularly like. Because I think, okay, now it's gone way too navel gazing. It's gone way too film theory. It's gone way too students sat down on a staircase with a bongo at 3:00 in the morning, going, "Well, man, you just don't get it." But some of it is good. So this is what he says about Nope. He says, this is a film about the relationship between entertainment and audience, particularly how the two come to inform one another. Throughout this film, we are nailed over the head with images of potentially violent, not necessarily tameable beings being filmed. Gordy, the UAP, the director watching clips of predator and prey fighting. Being drawn to the allure of spectacle makes us part of it. It chips at the division between what we consume and what we are. That's the first paragraph.
That's the first paragraph.
Shaun, what do you think of that so far?
Well, I guess he's this dude's up. This guy's what was his name again?
Hitoshi Nohara.
Hitoshi, yes. You've obviously
Hitoshi Nohara, and his picture is, I'm pretty sure that's Willem Dafoe in American Psycho.
Okay. He's obviously really gone in depth into this film. It wouldn't surprise me if he's probably seen it multiple times.
Yep.
I get from that seeing. So yeah, I mean, it does. I probably would need time to digest that, but yeah, it's an interesting concept. I'd have to give that one some thought. I think I'd have to give that one some serious thought. I haven't really thought much more about Nope recently, but so maybe I'll have a read through that and
have a read through that, see what you think, because it's you know how people were talking about, oh, this film is all about, like, the audience and everything like that, and I didn't particularly pick up on that. I didn't think it was that strong for me, but for some people that's all they see. So carrying on, he says, I'm going to do 2 paragraphs and we're going to stop, and then maybe we'll come back for the rest later.
Yeah.
But the second one says that, so he talks about being drawn to the allure of spectacle makes us part of it. It chips at the division between what we consume and what we are. Now, for anybody who hasn't seen Nope, this is going to get a little bit spoilerific. But the truth is, like, I saw a trailer for Nope for the home release of Nope the other day, and it is like the whole film. I mean, honestly, I'm so glad I did not see this trailer before I saw this film, because I'm like, what the heck are you left to watch in the film? They the thing that even we, Shaun, we are trying to be all coy about it, that they're trying to get a photograph of something, and we're trying to tell you we're not trying to not tell you what that thing is. Well, like, when we did our review, this preview for the home release of Nope has a picture of the thing. It has, it has a picture. And I'm like, what? It is honestly hands down one of the worst trailers I have seen. The ones before the film, I think I saw the first 2. Those were all right. This was just rubbish. This was stupid. Okay, cool. The most glaring example of this is Yoon and Gordy. Yoon notes that he and Gordy did the first ever exploding fist bump. Upon witnessing Gordy, to whom humans had thought they had tamed, be made fit and safe for human consumption of viewership, snap and beat his co-stars horrendously, Yoon could still not distinguish his reality from entertainment. As Gordy came over to him, covered in blood, while Yoon hid beneath the table, he reaches out his hand, seemingly to do the exploding fist bump with Yoon. Despite the context of the situation indicating that Gordy is clearly a violent wild animal, Yoon reaches out his hand for the exploding fist bump. He cannot tell whether Gordy is a wild animal whose actions he just bore witness to, or the character from the show. There is no division. Peele leaves this particularly ambiguous as Gordy is killed before contact can be made between the two. Was Gordy recalling his fondness for Yoon and reprising his character from the show, or was he reacting to hurt Yoon as part of his spree? We don't know. The line between entertainment and reality has fully blurred.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, that was, I mean, the Gordy scene was I think we both agreed that was the more interesting aspect of the film, I think. That would be, that would be worth looking into a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah,
I think the best thing.
Yeah, so carry on, Shaun.
No, go on. No, you go, Toast.
I was going to say that was the bit of the film that made you go, what are they saying here? What are they? And there's bits of what he says there that I kind of agree with. There's something that the character that Stephen Yeun plays in the film is quite an interesting one, because there's bits about it where when they show you what happened when he was younger and when they show you how he acted when he's older, you're like, whoa, what is going on here? What is this dude doing? Is he aware? Like, there's bits of it where you're not sure whether something has happened to him that he's just buried in his mind, or whether he's fully aware of what happened in his mind and he's just ignoring it. So I think that there is stuff that can be dug into there. But anyway, as I can say, if you wanted to read the rest of what Natoshi Nohara has to say about Nope, you can go and read that was 2 paragraphs, the 6 paragraphs that he wrote on our review of Nope. So Natoshi, is that right? No, it's Hitoshi Nohara. Yeah, thank you very much for getting in touch, and please do keep listening and keep writing more essays on other things that we say. But getting onto films that we've actually seen this week, and that is, so as I said, it's the Shaun show, because Shaun is the only one, he's the only expert amongst us, he's the only professional around here.
I wouldn't say that.
Who doesn't let things like, a mountain of nappies stop him going to the cinema? He doesn't, he still gets there. He still watches new things on Netflix. So today we are going to have a straight up fight between See How They Run and Django on Netflix. See How They Run. You saw that in cinemas. Tell us about this.
Did. Can I just say, just before we start into that, I also saw 3,000 Years of Longing.
Oh yeah, 3,000 Years of Longing.
So I actually saw that, and I must admit I agree totally with the review you did of it. I really enjoyed it. It was I don't know. There's something about it, isn't there? There's something about that movie that is fun. You think, this is good, and I think Tilda is really good. And, but it's quite funny. I kept getting focused to the genie's ear for some reason. One of his
yeah.
You know what I mean? That was obviously deliberate, but it was like I kept sort of getting drawn to that. I don't know why, but it was great. It was really good fun, really interesting.
It is. I'll tell you one thing that happened, because in 2 weeks we reviewed 2 Idris Elba movies, and we reduced Beast and we reviewed 3,000 Years of Longing, and it made me think that it's a random thought. It doesn't really change in anybody's life, but it made me think, I don't think Idris Elba is a film star.
No.
I don't think he's a movie star. He's a good actor, but if you think about it, think about a film that starred Idris Elba that was the thing. It was like a film that he carried. I'm trying to think. It's not like you can, like, there's no film that's synonymous with Idris Elba.
No.
Like, it's not like you can say, oh, Tom Cruise, and you can immediately go, oh, Top Gun, or you can say, even Tom Hanks or Forrest Gump. There is no film that is synonymous with Idris Elba. And I was just like, I don't think the dude is a film star. I mean, he's a celebrity. He's a good actor. He's probably more of a TV actor than he is a film star. But everybody treats him like a massive star, I know. And he was I'm happy for him.
He was even touted to be the James Bond, wasn't he, at one point?
Yeah, but I have my thoughts about James Bond.
The thing I always remember,
James Bond anything other than a white man. Yep.
The thing I remember, and I'm pretty sure it was this one. It goes, "Today we are cancelling the apocalypse." Was that him?
Yeah, that was him. That was him. That was Pacific Rim. That
was not good. That was not good.
Yeah,
that was not a moment. That's not a good moment.
No, but people love that moment though.
I know.
People essentially,
good, but...
I think today we're canceling the apocalypse. It is said in the same breath as, today we declare our Independence Day. It is said in that sort of same breath. So yeah, 3,000 Years of Longing. It is a very different film, because you could argue it's a film in which not much happens. but people sit down and tell each other stories, but it's awesome. It's awesome, and like the Flash.
Yeah.
But you know the thing I was trying to be really coy about, where I said that there's something that happens in London with the Jinn that, yeah, like why wouldn't that happen in Istanbul?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There is that. Yeah. There's. Yeah.
You're like, hang on a second, but why wouldn't that happen?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say about Istanbul? What are you trying to say about Istanbul?
Yeah.
And that was a bit for me that I was just kind of like, oh, I don't know about that. But apart from that, I think the flashbacks, the stuff, the Queen of Sheba, love it.
Stuff. Yeah. Agreed. So I totally, I'm with your review all the way on that one.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much. Always good to be validated. So now let's go to see how they run.
Okay, see how they run. Well, this was there hasn't been a lot out there, so this I thought I'd go and see this. It was one I was actually looking forward to because for all the hype and there was a lot of adverts on the buses and all must see and all this sort of thing. So I went. It's a story of the play that's been running the longest is the Mousetrap.
Yep.
And it's there's obviously like a murder mystery. There's a murder that goes on, and then you do the investigation. I found this a hard watch actually, and I know there's a lot of hype. I think this was, for me, the Mousetrap, but on film, but theatrically on film. So it was basically, I mean, you've got the actors, you've got Richard Attenborough, Dickie Attenborough, and you've got, I mean, I've never seen the Mousetrap, and I know it's the longest running thing. I've never seen the Mousetrap, and I think to really, really enjoy this film, you probably would have had to see the Mousetrap, because I did hear a couple of titters in the audience. There was a couple of quite funny, and I'm sure there must be so many references to this, for even right at the ending. So yeah, basically, there's this murder, and you get like a jaded detective who's like, he's examined the case. He goes through the motions. Then you've got this young woman PC, and she's like, played by Saoirse Ronan. Saoirse Ronan, yeah, and she just writes absolutely everything down. And the one thing the detective's there, and the one thing he says, one thing you must do as a detective is never jump to conclusions, right? So what happens through the film, she jumps to, I won't say what goes on, but she records absolutely minutiae of detail of what's said, what's gone on. And then there's one scene where he just wants to get away, so he goes, I'm going to the dentist, and off he goes, and anyway, something, because he's a bit of a boozer, So anyway, and then it goes on to stuff that actually happens in the theatre, and so they're showing the Mousetrap, and then you find some people that have watched. There's I forget what the characters are. They're pretty, but there's who's the actor who plays like a writer? Can't remember his name. I should have done a bit of research.
Is it David Oyelowo?
Yeah, David. Yes, him. Yeah. And so that was quite a good bit. But I've got to be honest with this film. I do honestly believe you basically had to have seen the Mousetrap, because I thought it not particularly dull. I didn't get it. Normally I'm quite good at getting who that I couldn't see any, because it's a whoddunit. I couldn't really see. I mean, all the red herrings are in there. Like, they had an argument, and there was this going on and that going on, and babies here and relationships, and so you're saying you didn't pick who did it? I couldn't pick who did it straight away. No, so that must have been. Okay. I mean, it all ends up. Let's just say it all ends up at. So the last act, if you will, ends up at Agatha Christie's place. So that's like the last act of the. So especially like a play, you got you just for me thinking like that anyway. So it's basically this. I don't know. I think it was a homage to the Mousetrap.
Oh no, I think they made no bones about the fact that this is a homage to the Mousetrap, because the murder takes place in the theater that the Mousetrap is playing at. Yeah. And there's no bones about that it's a homage. I mean, they said that right, like this is a homage to the Mousetrap. But and now the funny thing is, I've seen the Mousetrap twice. Okay. I've seen the Mousetrap. So it would be interesting for me to actually, because I still want to see this, and I still want to see this. And it would be interesting to see if I pick up on any of that because I saw the Mousetrap and I saw the Mousetrap ages ago. So the second time I saw it was ages ago. I can't remember any sort of like I know who did it, but the second time I saw it, I can't remember any of the minutiae of it. So we'll see. But I mean, I know that there's things in the trailer that seem quite cool, like the Saoirse Ronan Sam Rockwell relationship, where you have like the really really over eager couple who just wants to arrest everybody.
Yeah.
It looks like there's some potential there. But so you're saying that you struggled with it, and you didn't quite get on with it.
No, I didn't quite get on with it. I don't know if it was perhaps. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect, and I thought, well, and I need to see something this week, and I hadn't seen it. And as I say, seems to be on a lot of buses on the island. Such a great, and there was a decent crowd there, and there was quite a bit of tittering going on. So at some of the scenes, but for me personally, I didn't know what it wanted to be. I didn't know if it wanted to be. I mean, I'm not really. I've got to be honest. I'm not really a big whodunit sort of person. That's not my. That's not my what I like in a movie, because I don't know, maybe I'm not analytically enough or whatever. So for instance, something like Knives Out with Daniel Craig. You didn't get on with that. No. I think I enjoyed that one, Knives Out. But this one, I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. But I didn't enjoy it. It was watchable, but I didn't. And even the comedic bits, which were supposed to be comedic bits, I didn't think particularly comedic, if you will. But there was a lot of laughter in the audience, so I'm sure it must be. You'll probably love it, Toes, and it'd be great when you see it, and you can say to me, well,
I have to be honest with you. The
don't
trailer,
tell the audience.
the trailer of this. When I saw the trailer, I was watching it thinking, this looks like my kind of film.
Yeah.
I was watching it going, this looks like my kind of film. A whodunit that doesn't take itself too seriously, that's sort of like messing around with the theater. There's probably going to be some theater jokes in there, which I will get, being a theater kid.
Yes.
But yeah, that's one I will attempt to see and then come back and let you know. But for now, you are the only one who made the effort to actually go and see it. So how many stars would you give See How They Run?
Okay, well, this is probably, I will give it a 3 stars. Cool. I'll give it a 3 stars, but I'm not saying it didn't like blow me away, and it didn't. I just found it. I don't know. It just didn't really. It was just like a film, It was just like.
It's just like, okay, well, 2 hours. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I can go home now.
Yeah.
All right, so now we go on to the second film, and this is very very late in the day to be telling you what the concept of this show is. But we go and see things in the cinema, rate them out of 5, see things on Netflix and Friends, read them out of 5, and say where money's been better spent this week. And on now you mentioned this. You said that you saw Django and Django on. You saw Django and Django on Netflix.
Yeah,
and I never heard of that. I was like, well, is that a Django film I haven't heard of? So I just looked it up and realized that this seems to be what Netflix does well, and it's a documentary that has Quentin Tarantino as its thumbnail. I'm seeing as the fact you're going to see your favorite Quentin Tarantino film tonight. I have a feeling that I know where you think your money was better spent this week. But so tell us about Django and Django.
Okay, so Django and Django. So obviously Tarantino did Django Unchained, and there's based on the original film called Django, which was by a director called Sergio Corbucci, which was the second best spaghetti western director in Italy.
After Sergio Leone.
After Sergio Leone, and they were mates. Sergio Leone were mates, and this is all about a documentary of how they cut their teeth really as sort of just being screen runners for the thing, and then gradually they worked into worked their way up through the sets to first second director and then screenplays and all that. So it starts off with the early Italian movies and then it goes up, but Tarantino just so knows his movies. I'm not kidding. I could listen to him talk to hours. He is just absolutely a mind of information when it comes to movies, and he loves it, doesn't he? He must live it. He must live the whole.
He totally does live it. I mean, also the fact that that you and Tarantino seem to share a brain. So, so I can imagine that he's the kind of person that you just love to sit down and have a chat with for after ages. Yeah.
I mean, I quite watch on the odd occasions, like they have the Directors Guild, and where
Yes,
the
yeah, yeah,
directors
yeah. The
talk about,
discussions are, yeah.
and I like him. But anyway, back to this. So yeah, so this is it's a 70-minute documentary about Sergio, and he makes a really good point. He said Corbucci's really happy to be called the second best director of spaghetti westerns. He said if it come to the American westerns, I mean, he goes a small difficult. You could say like John Ford, and then who would be the second one? Would it be Welsh or
That's a good point.
Howard Hawks, So
yeah, well, I don't really think of Howard Hawks as a Western director.
Not as a Western director, no. But
Yeah.
but in that type of thing, some of the other directors. So anyway, so it goes through Corbucci's career and some of the films he's made. So obviously between the discussions, between the talks, there's clips from all of these different spaghetti westerns, Django, the clips, and then it goes back and they've got people who worked with Corbucci. They've got Franco Nero on there, and
Legend.
And there's a bit. He did this one called the Mercenary, which because all his films are really different compared to Leone films. They're much more dark and bloody and violent and stuff like that compared to the Leone ones. But the Mercenary apparently was one of the few times that he emulated Leone, if you like, with a final duel at the end with a great piece of music.
So is a documentary just about Sergio Corbucci?
Yeah, just about.
It's not about Django. It's about
it's about him. Corbucci.
Okay,
and the reason with the Django, because he mentions afterwards, like at the end, he's saying his Django, Tarantino's Django, was because he works it all out. He works out the whole story, and he said, well, he knew it would have to take place in the antebellum South, and he works out the whole story. And he says to the Corbucci Django, he goes, there's something in this film that's never really explained. He said he's looking at a grave and it's got Mercedes on. Now, I always wondered what this Mercedes was about. And he goes, I don't think it was his wife. And he just explains the whole thing. And he says, so this is what I think. This is the story. And he makes this really credible story about he fought in the war and it's it was like his friends who got killed, sort of wife or whatever. Anyway, he just tells the story, and it's just like, wow, he's just made a film there itself, And he goes on to say that a lot of Corbucci films about fascism.
Yep.
And sometimes, I mean, as in the Grand Silence, the Gran Silencio, like sometimes the bad guys come out on top. It's not always, that's why they're quite dark, I don't know if you've seen many spaghetti westerns. Have you, Toast? Have you watched Match in the Way Apart?
Oh, you see, no, that is like I think I've the Dollars trilogy I haven't seen all the way through.
Okay.
Like I think you could show me clips from the different films and I'll get them confused. As to which film is which.
Right.
So it's apart from the end of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I haven't seen them all the way through. I have seen Django. Django was one of the first westerns I ever saw because we had it on Betamax in Nigeria. So I saw Django, the guy with the coffin and the Gatling gun and the coffin and everything like that. And so we just thought that was cool. And it didn't occur to me later until it was. So I don't think I've seen that many spaghetti westerns. No. Or if I have seen them, I just thought that they were westerns.
Well,
it didn't.
But the interesting thing about that is, like, in that Django, in the original Django, with the gun, there's like loads of bad guys that are wearing red masks. And Tarantino was sort of saying, well, that's probably the Ku Klux Klan, but they didn't have the hoods. Instead of the hoods, they've had the masks. So it's I mean,
because Corbucci would have been coming out of fascist Italy. So
he would, he was, because he was, at the time he would have been coming out. So a lot of his, and they're really nasty. His characters are pretty cruel and nasty and horrible characters. So they're very, very dark.
I'll tell you a scene that sticks out in my head is in the original Django where they crush his hands by riding horses over his hands.
That's right.
And that is a scene that I remember watching this thing, and I was probably about 7. Couldn't watch the scene, and even in my head now I'm thinking that is just so nasty. Why would you do that? Such a nasty thing to do. And then the final bit in the graveyard and how he gets around the fact that they've crushed it. The Corbucci the original Django is nasty.
It is,
The original Django is a nasty film.
And there's been a lot of spin-offs, but sort of Sartana and Django meets Sartana. But this, as I say, the whole thing, probably this is I mean, it doesn't say that Tarantino. I mean, he's just talking, but it's got him written all over it. It's got Tarantino written all over it. So it wouldn't surprise me if he had quite a lot of input in this. And I could just listen to him. This was fabulous. This was just like, whoa. Well, I really like that so much that I'll probably watch it again.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, this it's a really, really good watch if you like spaghetti westerns. If you don't like spaghetti westerns, then you're not really spaghetti western.
It sounds like it's a good entry point to find out more about spaghetti westerns.
Yes, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, because for ages I did not know why they were called spaghetti westerns.
Yeah.
I was like spaghetti western, what? A western in which they eat spaghetti? What are you on about?
Yeah.
And I did not know for absolute ages why they were called spaghetti westerns. And I think I finally found out, probably around about the age of 22 or something like that, why they were called spaghetti westerns. And I was like, Then you sort of go back and look at the films and you go, I guess it doesn't look like America. When you look at it properly, it doesn't look like America.
Yeah. He actually goes back to Tarantino talks about the scene, because the Leonardo DiCaprio character goes to Italy, doesn't he, to sort of reinvent his career?
Yes, yes. In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and he goes into that a little bit more. He goes into that a bit more depth about his film. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, Shaun, just before you give us the start, and I know because you're a massive and you could just sort of listen to the guy talk all day, and you're talking about how much he's built these stories in his head. You do know that he has pretty much, the character that Leonardo DiCaprio plays in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Rick Dalton.
Rick Dalton, that's it. Yeah, Rick Dalton, my dad. Yeah.
Tarantino knows the guy's entire filmography. Like, if you go to Tarantino, he would tell you all the films that Rick Dalton starred in.
Dalton, yeah.
And he has written a book. He has written a book.
Wow.
Where, which he hasn't released yet, but I heard him talking because he wrote a novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I think you might like, because it's not exactly the same as the film. It's different from the film in that the ending of the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood comes about halfway through the book, and then the book carries on. But he wrote this book, right, where and the whole idea is that Rick Dalton retires from Hollywood, is living in Hawaii, and then there is a film festival there where they're doing retrospective of Rick Dalton's work. So Rick Dalton shows up, and that in the book, Quentin Tarantino is a character, and Quentin Tarantino goes and interviews Rick Dalton. So essentially, Quentin Tarantino has written a book in which he interviews Rick Dalton about his entire career, because he is just that kind of nerd. That's just the kind of...
He really is, yeah. I mean, he's yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, I'll have to look out for that then.
All right, so how many stars would you give Django Django?
Well, because it was just so good and I so really, really enjoyed it, this would be a 5-star. But if you weren't into spaghetti westerns, it would probably be a 4. So from a personal point of view, this has got 5-star for me written all over it.
Yep.
So I will give this a 5-star. But it's a great, like you said, it's really good you said that. It's a great entry point into spaghetti westerns because it talks about Leone and stuff. So yeah, it's I think Netflix is so good at doing these sort of things. I don't know.
This isn't a Netflix documentary, but I think Netflix is brilliant for documentaries. I was talking about Untold the other week, and I was talking about the Untold series, and I actually watched the Untold, the girlfriend who disappeared, and good God, man. I think if you're an American, because it's all about this college American football player who played for Notre Dame. Yeah. So he played for Notre Dame, and if you're American, you probably knew all about this story while it was happening. I didn't have a clue about it. I didn't know anything about it because I think this was like 2009. The whole thing went down, and so I didn't know anything about it. And watching it back, and just looking at the story, you're like, what the actual hell? So Shaun, I know you like some of your sports. You like your American football. Yes. I could totally recommend Untold. I could. The other thing is, have you ever heard Martin Scorsese talk about film?
Yes, I have. I think on occasions there was one in that Directors Guild. So I don't. Yeah. So
yeah, I was gonna say, because for you, who would you rather listen to? Because Martin Scorsese does have that sort of like
In depth, yeah.
Yeah, in-depth encyclopedic knowledge like Tarantino does. So, but for your money, who would you rather listen to?
Well, Tarantino. But I like them both. Don't get me wrong. I like them both. I mean, I thought Hugo was Hugo. You know Hugo. You know the film Hugo.
I know the film Hugo.
Yeah. That was a homage to. But I think they're both great, but they probably know different things. So I think Scorsese sees the superhero films as not movies, doesn't he?
He's like, that's not cinema.
That's not cinema.
That's not cinema.
No, but yeah, I mean, I like Scorsese as well, and I know he's really, really knowledgeable, and it would be quite interesting to see those two, Tarantino and Scorsese, have a good old chat about.
Have a good old yeah. Oh, I think I could get a bit competitive. Yeah, you know, just sound on the stage trying to show who knows the most.
yeah.
I'm the big dog around here.
I think the thing is with Tarantino is, I mean, I love his canon of films. You know, I mean, I love all his films, and same with Scorsese. But I think Scorsese probably knows more about, you know, the origins of cinema and the technical aspects, and like early cinema. Whereas I'm pretty sure Tarantino does, but he's more. I don't know. I guess he's
I think Tarantino he's almost a bit more genre. He's a bit more pulp.
Genre. That's the word. Yeah,
he's a bit more pulp than Scorsese is.
Yeah,
and I think Scorsese is kind of like. Oh, he would talk about the Powell and Pressburger and all that kind of stuff. And Tarantino would talk about would dive into random stuff that he used to watch in the video store at the dead of night that came out of Japan.
Yeah. That's it. So they're different dudes, isn't they? I mean, you could probably say, if you were to say something like, Delinquent Girl Boss, Japanese 1970. So Tarantino would know all about it, and Scorsese would probably be aware of it. But then, if you was to say Scorsese, or have you seen, I don't know, some like old Hitchcock film or something, he'd know all about that. But yeah, so they'd be different things. So I'm sure we would. I'm sure both of them would.
That's a documentary that we're waiting for. Yeah. Scorsese and Tarantino.
That would be good.
Just having a chat. All right, cool. So I think that is everything from us this week. And I think until next week, when we will go and look for other things in cinema. Yes. And I will be trying to finish. I've been trying to finish a documentary series on Disney Plus called Light and Magic. Which is all about the origin of the special effects house, Industrial Light and Magic, who were formed for Star Wars. Essentially, and it's about how they ended up doing the effects on Star Wars and all that. And they're the ones they're probably the biggest effects house in the world at the moment. Yes. And they're the ones who did Jurassic Park and everything like. And yeah.
I was going to say, I think there's one that comes up afterwards. You probably would know. Weta. Is it Weta? Weta,
Weta, yeah. Weta were created for the Lord of the Rings. They're New Zealand based, and pretty much that was Peter Jackson saying, I need stuff for the Lord of the Rings. Essentially, Peter Jackson did what George Lucas did, saying, I need stuff, nobody can do it. So he created a company to do it.
Oh, right, okay.
Cool. So Weta, they are, and they were like motion capture. They were motion capture pioneers because of Gollum, because they did Gollum and all that. So, but yeah, and it's Light and Magic, and it talks about it. And you spoke about the film, Something God.
Oh yeah,
stop motion animation film.
Yeah, hang on, it'll come to me in a minute. I like that as well very much.
Phil Tippett.
Mad God. That's it.
Yeah. Phil Tippett, Mad God, and. This Phil Tippett was one of the guys who was working on the special effects for Star Wars, and he's in it. Wow. So they interview all these different people who were involved in it, and they talk about how they all came together with all the different skills. And I think what's going to happen later on is they're going to talk about where they went on and what they. And I think there's a bit where Phil Tippett talks about, for instance, how they said he disappeared for 25 years trying to make Mad God. Yeah. And he talks about the reason why he disappeared and what Jurassic Park had to do with it. So I'm trying to finish watching that, but my daughter keeps demanding to watch something else on the TV.
I can understand that. Well, there's I've watched another series which I'll probably save till next week, which is
Oat Studios.
Oat Studios, yeah. So
Neil
they're quite
Blomkamp.
short. Some of those are quite short. So I pretty much binge watched them. So, but it could be one of those episode by episode ones. But
it could be, yeah. It could be.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Until next week, when we'll find out if there's anything in the cinemas. It's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.
Thank you very much for joining us. Leave us a review somewhere. Get onto our YouTube channel and leave an essay like Hitoshi Nohara did. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye. Cheers.